So we got a bunch of stuff to get into. We got the finals to talk about. We got BT
Yeah, yeah.
Awards. We got Wayne's album. Where you want to start first?
Get into that Wayne, bro. We got to get into the Wayne, man.
And I will say I did not I haven't finished the album yet, but I've finished enough of the album to already have my conclusion behind it. So initially
Let's
you and
give
I
it.
okay, so you and I talked and I told you I said it's not that like on first listen I was like, man, it sounds old. You know what I'm saying? Like this doesn't sound very current. And then when I thought about it, I was like, okay, maybe it's not so much that it doesn't sound current, but the production was weird to me, right? The production doesn't sound current. Like, and then you sent me this thing today where a fan put his raps on a newer sounding track and it sounded better, right? And so
Yep.
it to me like I said, for me it goes to production because I listened to my homeboy. My homeboy just dropped the album. Chris McCain out here, the God MC he calls himself, and he has a project called East Side Story. And I just listened to his project, and I'm like, yo, it's fire. You know what I'm saying? He real sample heavy. You know what I'm saying? Real soulful, but his rap, he raps the way he raps, but the album sounds current. But then it's like Wayne, the person who just was like upset that he didn't get the Super Bowl. And it felt to me like he had something to prove. And this album just doesn't trans translate to the feeling that I thought he would have of not getting the Super Bowl. Like these sounded like a bunch of throwaway songs that didn't make a previous album. There's no lollipops on this album. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard it yet. I've heard like I like the record he has with his daughter singing the hook. I like the record with 2 Chains, but there's still no like classic songs like the ones that I'm thinking is like the singles. I haven't heard those yet, in my opinion.
If you were rating it on a scale of 1 to 5, basically like on the old school sourced and double XL scale, right? How many mics would you give this album?
It would be a three micer. Only reason
Okay.
is it's right there in the middle for me because as an artist, bro, I understand how hard it is to put out something to the world and then be subjectively, critiqued on that. I know how hard it is to put a project out. So with that respect and the fact, like I like Wayne, you know what I'm saying, and so I have a higher expectation for people who I actually rock with, so with that respect in mind, I'll give him 3 mics. But like I said, I'm not right now. This isn't an album I'm looking to repeat.
This is one of the things that's interesting because I give it a 3 mics out of 5 as well. But let me tell you the reason why I give it 3 out of 5. I give it 3 out of 5 because of this. Because it's like, okay, I can't quite tell. Like the reps, right? The punchlines are all there, right? It's Wayne style punchline. I think that what I found, bro, is that right after, okay, so I think maybe like the first 8 songs, they're okay, but it's like after the intro has this big grand presentation that I'm thinking like, okay, well, you know what? We about to go ahead and get into it. We about to get into it. He about to go ahead. And I think that he was like, okay, it was going and it wasn't quite where I thought it was gonna go. But I'm like, okay, it's straight, it's coming, it's coming. I'm seeing that, you know what I'm saying? It's building there. And bro, once it got to um Banned from New Orleans, right? And I don't know, I don't think you've ever heard it, but there's a song Banned from TV. I think it is. It's an old song with Cam, Nature, Big Pun, I think Styles P. Classic New York beat from like the 90s, I believe, early in the early 90s. And he threw some 808s over it though, man, and he is just going. And what's crazy about it is that it just didn't seem to go. Like you can tell he's giving you grade A rapping, right? But it just for some reason it wasn't hitting. Like how when I sit you the joint when someone did the remade Peanuts to an Elephant, it's like once someone switched the beat, it just made sense. It brought everything to life. And it I think that what's crazy about it is this. It's almost like I'm gonna give it a 3 because it's Wayne, but him being Wayne, it's giving it a 3. It's almost like if somebody else would have did this, maybe I would have even thought if they gave them some line for line, I would have gave somebody else like a 3.5 because he did have the bars there, but it just didn't match. And my expectation for a Carter is so high, given all of the features that you typically have for Wayne, given all of the everything. Like when you hear Wayne on a song, and when you hear the cigarette lighter lights up, I'm thinking, okay, we out of here. And when I heard, I was just like, it was all right. But right after midway through the album, to me, that's when the rest of the album just felt like an eclectic bunch of songs that just, like you said, either didn't make the album or maybe make another album or could have been scores for another movie or something that it just didn't quite go. Like Peanuts to an Elephant sounded like a Neptune's beat from like 99, and that's not even like that's a starter for real beat. And it just it just the album itself didn't make sense. And one of the things I think that's just crazy to me though, right? Is I thought about you in this regards because you always talk about when it comes to Marvel movies specifically, you're looking for something that furthers the Marvel cinematic universe, the storyline of Marvel. And outside of the intro, right, the first two songs, the three songs, I think this album was didn't have any continuity within itself, but also it didn't have any continuity within the series of the Carters as well. So it didn't further the Carter line to me though, bro. It had nothing to do. Like if he would have just dropped this as a mixtape, nobody would have batted an eye, right? But I think the fact that he called it a Carter is
Has
where
more
it
weight.
lost me. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
has more
lost
weight.
me on it being a Carter. So, three out of five to me though, bro. But I mean, but if you just listen to just the rapping though, bro, it's like the rapping is there. So I was disappointed when I saw people talking about, oh, Wayne is washed. I was like, bro, I still firmly believe that Wayne will out rap 99% of most rappers, though, right?
Mhm.
But it's just the fact that it's a Carter though, bro, and my expectation for it is so much higher though, bro.
Yeah, it almost feels like if Jay-Z dropped another Blueprint and it wasn't quite blueprinting.
Yeah, if he dropped like the Blueprint 4, and let's say the Blueprint 4, you know what I'm saying, didn't feel like anything like a blue because when he dropped the Blueprint 2, I thought that it kind of made sense. Blueprint 3 kind of made sense, even though it wasn't. Blueprint is my favorite album, right? But I understood the theme of the others. I think that the part that I think is crazy to me, right, is that here's what I think is wild. So you mean to tell me after, like you said, after us going back and forth about the Super Bowl, that Wayne, who you hardly ever see on the scene because they say he's always in the studio. So you got thousands of songs, and this is the one that you select. This is the play that you select for the Carter Six, no less, though, bro. That's the part that I was just like, no, no, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Hold on,
Let me tell you this.
before you ask me that, I just gotta say this one other thing. Now, there's a record he has on there that's talking about bloods, right? Blood this, blood that. And it's like one of them that you would think if you because we ain't thugging. But you would
Yeah.
think if that was it, it's like, all right, we got the anthem, it's doing our thing. And then it turned into a rock beat. I was like, no,
I can't. I can't. I can't.
no.
I can't.
All right.
I can't. Yeah, listen, this is the thing. This is one of these things, and I will tell you this. Okay. So one of the things that I this is where when I tell you that when I have Kendrick as the number 2 rapper of all time because given his resume of music and catalog of music, I think that he's contributed mightily past the likes of Pac and Biggie to me. His resume is updated. This is one of the reasons why, to me, I have him over Kendrick. I mean, excuse me, that I have Kendrick over him
Right.
because I just think that I wouldn't expect for Kendrick to do this, right? Like
Mhm,
if Kendrick came out with an album that was just all there hasn't been explanation for it though, bro. But for Wayne to drop this and it's just seemingly nobody know I don't get it though, bro. But this I'm not gonna say this is the only reason why, but these albums, right? Like
mhm.
people will say, well, which of the Carters are the classic Carter albums, all right? Or which of the Waynes are classics? And I think that Kendrick has more albums that you could debate are flat out classics to me than Wayne, and that's the reason why I have him higher than Wayne all time. And those lists, like we say all the time, are subjective. It's just your personal preference, though, man. But I just couldn't picture this one is hard. It's a hard listen to me, bro. A very hard listen, man.
Yeah. No, I, I
He
I
got the song with Bono that I don't like. Like
I don't like it either.
I don't like the song with Bono. I don't like the song where he's singing the whole song, and I get it because it almost sounds like "How to Love," right? It sounds
Mhm.
like one of those, but I just didn't. Nah, it didn't do it for me. You like the song with his daughter singing the chorus? I didn't particularly care for that. I thought the idea of having your daughter on a song that's fire. That would be like, regardless of what nobody says, you put out a song with Charlie on it. It's stamped. It's there. So I get it. But nah, he got a lot of misses on us though, bro. A lot of misses, man.
No, I definitely get it. It is definitely some misses on there. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
like I said, I'm sure if I know that fans were excited about him dropping something, but I'm sure they would have preferred it to be a little more of what they expected, if that makes
And listen,
sense.
I'm a keep it a stack with you, bro.
Mhm.
I didn't particularly like the song with Jelly Roll. I didn't like the Sharks, the chorus. I
No, I
like
didn't like it. I didn't like that either.
oddly enough, I love Big Sean's verse though, bro.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
know how I've always been a critic.
Right. I was gonna
Yeah, yeah.
say most of the features, like I said, with the feature with like you said, Big Sean and then Two Chains, I like their verses better than I did Wayne's.
Same. So it's I had the list mixed up, but it is right at Band from New Orleans. The Bono song, I could toss that on out, right? The
Mhm.
2 Chain songs came at 8. And then Flex Up is where it started to where it just went to me where it went left because I didn't particularly like Island Holiday. The low keys theme is what you're talking about. I didn't particularly care for If I Played the Guitar, Peanuts to an Elephant, just sounded older. The Rari, that's it. I I didn't particularly like the song with Wyclef on it, although it was refreshing to hear Wyclef. So I liked Wyclef's part more than Wayne. And I didn't particularly like being myself either. It's like I'm just very blown away that if I'm counting songs, I mean I would probably say half of the songs I just didn't. And just for somebody who I just respect their rapping, just pure rapping skills for, it's so disappointing to me, bro, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate.
You
So
know
the
what?
official
I
score for the Lil Wayne project from the Slash Brothers is 3 mics.
Three mics, man. Three out of five, man. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
What was you gonna say?
No, I think that one of the things that I think that's interesting though, right, is that like even on this song that he got with the boy Big X the plug, like that's the one that I thought would be a single, but I like the hook. I don't every outside of that, I don't think that he necessarily even killed that particular song. He got some great names on here as far as features, but did you notice though, no Nicki, no Drake on it?
I did notice that. I did notice that. Not even your king of R&B was on there. I would at least thought Jacquees would have made the project.
I'm not. I don't think that Jacquees would have, but I
He's a
can.
part. I'm saying he's a part just as much as Drake and Nicki are part of Cash
No,
Money, Young Money.
I think that he's more Cash Money than Young Money, Cash Money though.
But I'm
So
just saying he wasn't even on the project. At least he's more affiliated than Jelly Roll.
yeah, I didn't. He has Alone in the Studio with my gun. Didn't like that one either though, man. It's just I don't know, bro. It just left a lot to be desired,
But
bro. And
especially when you talked about how dope the Exhibit project was and how dope the Snoop project was. Like,
I've been listening to a lot of great 40 and up rap lately. Oddly enough, like the Snoop Dogg, Is It a Crime? The Exhibit, banger, banger, banger. The Exhibit, listen, I would give the Exhibit like a 4 point, ooh, maybe four, like 4.5 is on a scale of five. 4.25. It's a high four album though, bro. And so, yeah, but I've been like it's been consistent. Like a lot of the seasoned rappers have been really coming with great music here, though, man. That they haven't missed. And so it's just for this one to be the one. I thought this was gonna be the for
yeah.
sure swing, though, bro. Yeah.